All right, there we go. I think for some reason it was not letting me use the other link that I had. So let's see. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Reliable HVACR podcast, live stream, all in one. Um, so we're back. I'm gonna let people come in. It takes a few minutes, see what everybody's up to. But yeah, we were not able to live stream for a couple of weeks, and we're back at it today. We'll see how it goes. I did up the time a little bit so we don't run too long tonight. So, what's up, everybody? Hopefully, everybody got notified of the new link. Still trying to figure out this whole new setup I got going on now. Hopefully, it looks better than what I had before. And then we'll get into it in a minute. But yeah, if you guys are new here, please subscribe. Like I said, this is a live stream on my YouTube channel. It gets ripped, and then the audio goes out to a podcast. Anywhere you listen to those, you can find me on. You can basically find me on any platform if you just search Reliable HVACR, and we're all good. And if you guys have any questions or topics, you can leave them in the chat. I see the chat coming through now. I did have a topic. I think it made it through on the title. What tools are you thankful for? Or equipment, maybe more specifically. So hopefully we won't have any difficulties. And hopefully you guys hear me well. I think I have everything set up right. Handyman in the house. Steve's up in here too. Mike, I'm thankful for my amp probe ACD 14 clamp meter. Okay, now the chat is pulling up. Everything should be a guest on your show. Yeah, I saw your on Instagram your response. So I will end up reaching out because I know some of you guys have asked for that. If you guys are interested in guests, let me know who you want on the show. Still trying to figure that out. We had a good show with Angel, HVAC boss, so I'm open to doing it again with somebody else. Hopefully this new layout helps me out too. But yeah, like Mike said, he's thankful for his clamp meter. So I was just, keeping in line with the holidays, Thanksgiving week. What are some of the tools? Like it can be hand tools, it could be equipment like recovery machines, vacuum pumps, anything like that. What are you thankful for? I think everybody has those tools that they're like super attached to or they use every day, and they couldn't be without basically. Just because I did a video last week that was actually was a sponsored video from Jobber. They asked me like what are my three tools, top tools or essential tools, and I kind of went easy on that. I went with the Klein 7-in-1 flip socket with the 14-in-1 handle, which I like to combine those two. And then the Klein ratchet is by far one of my favorite tools to use. It helps me get all these random screws that are sandwiched in between panels and different walls and stuff like that. And then the what do you call it? Oh, and the last one I had to incorporate Jabra, of course. So I went with the phone because obviously we use our phone for everything now. We have to look up manuals and parts, different things like that, and phone comes in handy. I think we all have our apps that we use and stuff like that, and then obviously we connect to our um, probes and different Bluetooth equipment that we have. Uh, yeah, Steve said he would love to come on, so I'm still trying to figure out Rick's show. Yeah, that one hasn't been on for a while, man. Haven't seen you guys. But yeah, Steve, I think he said it last time. He was cool with it. I'll ask around. I'm sure Ryan would be up for it too. I can talk to Jeff JDim over on Instagram. I can ask people that I actually like know. Because somebody asked me for Zach from Quality HVAC. I don't talk to him, so I haven't uh, thought about asking him. But I can ask, like I said, Ryan, maybe Jeff. Steve says he's cool with it. I wanted to have Angel on here again. Uh, Chris from HVACR videos said he was cool with it too. So I'll figure that out. And we can have people on here. Just it's not going to be a weekly thing. So just whenever I can. You're thankful for the guys showing you the tools to get. Well, yeah, if you guys follow me, I try to have the link to everything that I use. I need to organize it better because the list is getting a little too long of the tools that I recommend because I have hand tools, I have the specialty equipment like the recovery machines, pumps, all that stuff that I use. It's all in there, and I need to sort it out so that you can kind of narrow down what you're looking for instead of scrolling through a long list. But yeah, obviously it's going to be filled with like field piece, Vito, Klein tools. That's the stuff that I like. You should make a video on how to use Jobber. I have a video coming up because they sponsor, I think, one full YouTube video every few months. So I have one that I already recorded. It was kind of how to do maintenance or schedule jobs with them. I don't want to go over it too much, but if there's something specific you want to use or know how to use on it, I can answer those questions. But yeah, the next jobber video will be like how to schedule jobs and get your maintenance scheduled through them, which is kind of neat. I'm still trying to figure out how to use the whole jobber thing. I know I've had them for almost a year now, I think, but it just has so many features that I don't get to all of them. So like I said, the job thing, I hadn't gotten to it yet. Scheduling, maintenance, and all that. So I'm gonna start doing that more often, and I can show that, like I said, in that video. And to be honest with you guys, I have way too many videos to post. So I have another field piece video this month. I have, I think, another tour review tomorrow. And I'm trying to make sure that I get service call videos in there because that's what you guys, watch the most. So the jobber one, I don't know. It's still up in the air if I can even squeeze it in this month. Or I mean, not this month. I'm talking about December. I already have too many videos for the end of the year. Which I'm prioritizing the van tour. So I recently redid my van. It's all very different from what you've seen before. I think I've done 2 van tours. So I have the next one coming up. It's gonna be pack out setups. I ripped out a whole bunch of shelves. I don't like to use the shelves anymore. So hopefully in a week or two I can get that out. I think that's supposed to be not this weekend, but the next weekend. I saved money by purchasing my books on Amazon. That's awesome. Um, so are you in trade school right now? I forget. I know a lot of people tell me that they're in school and stuff. Or are you just buying your books for something else? I still have all of my textbooks from school. They're in that bookshelf, but at the bottom. And I still have all the contractor books that I had to get for the test. And I'm trying to find my notes. I have notes. I have binders of like notes from school and stuff. So yeah, there's all that. All right, guys, give me one quick minute. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Let me get into the chat. What it do, y'all? Tech tie. Oh yeah, so I have binders of notes and stuff that I compiled from my school. I kind of want to put those back together and have those if I need them. I took a lot of notes during school, and like I said, I keep all my textbooks and stuff. Jason Johnson, what's up? Mike, the field piece ST4 temp meter is something I use every day for quickly and accurately checking temp splits. Uh, I used to have a bunch of field piece like meters and thermometers and stuff like that. As you can tell, I'm a big. If you've seen any of my videos, I'm a big field piece guy, and they started sponsoring some stuff, so that's been really cool. I always say, guys, I appreciate everybody who stops in, whether it's the live streams, the videos, dropping a like, leaving a comment, all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Didn't think I'd be here with 5,000 subs, even though it's not huge, but it's a really good, channel, and I appreciate all that. I was trying to verify. I looked up the filled piece. I never knew the name of it, to be honest. The ST4 was my go-to when I started, so I had that for years. I love that it was like a dual temp thermometer, and then those K type thermocouples, I would check a bunch of walk-ins, reach-ins, and stuff like that. Uh, I'm more of a refrigeration guy, so I didn't use it for like temp splits because I think you said you were checking temp splits. It's great for that. I did start using it like towards the end of the time that I had it, until I recently started getting like different temp probes, and I also got the SC680, and that one does a dual temperature right on it. So even though it's kind of a big meter, I like that it has the dual temp. That's one thing that I did like. It was a field piece, that thermometer that does the dual temp and the difference and all that. Now I can do it on my meter, so I keep the 680, and I prefer to have the all-in-one and to have the option to check temp splits with it. Even though I don't really do that with those kind of thermometers anymore, I always end up going back to those UEI temp probes, the ones you just you stick into the duct or the panel or whatever. Jonathan, what's up, man? Got some guys from the valley here. Anwar, good evening. Busy man. HVAC God, what tools am I thankful for? All. Long story short, I just started the trade and got all the tools I needed, then got them all stolen my first year. Company can't help or pay for anything. I'm sorry about that, man. I had the same exact thing happen to me. Now, obviously, I work for myself, um, so it wasn't. I mean, I had to. Our company, which is the money out of our pocket, had to pay for it again. But I had that happen twice. I don't know if I've gone into the whole story as to how that happened, but in a nutshell, my van got stolen. We were able to recover the van, but the guy had already wiped out all my equipment. He was headed for Mexico. We're actually at the border here, so it wasn't too far for him, and luckily we caught him. So yeah, the first time my van got taken, it was supposed to be worked on, and the guy took advantage and took it. And then the second time, right after I got everything again, all Klein, everything, try to get it top of the line tools. We were doing a change out or doing something, and I was with my brother, and we're trying to dump all the trash out and stuff. So I left my tools by the back door by accident, and not even 15 minutes later, that stuff got taken. So you could tell it was one of the workers there, the manager or whatever, but who's been caught doing that, but we weren't able to catch him. And yeah, I've had them stolen twice, so I know how you feel, man. Hopefully you can get back on your feet with that. There's no shame in going to Harbor Freight, which is what happened to me the second time. Even though it's our money, I didn't want to fork over like hundreds of dollars again. So I was like, you know what? And this was a while back too. I was like, you know what? Let me go to Harbor Freight, get all the bare minimum tools that I need. The only thing I won't go bare minimum on is the like the meters and stuff like that. So hand tools from Harbor Freight, get another field piece meter, and then get back to work. And some good analogs. It's always good to have backups in case something happens. Oh, okay, handyman. Yeah, you're in community college, which is what I did too. We had a college here that offered HVAC. They had a campus where they had HVAC students, like the nursing school and all that kind of stuff. the Technology Center, if anybody's familiar with South Texas College. It used to be South Texas Community College. They had a technology campus, and that's where I went to school. I basically majored in HVAC. Jason Johnson, I love my utility bed truck. Wouldn't want a van again. I've been super tempted to get a truck. Um, so you managed to stay or work out of a truck, no problem. Some of our guys and my dad also has the truck with the camper, but they don't carry as much stuff as I do because they do the hot side. So they're just they're indoors a lot and they work on commercial kitchen equipment, which they don't really need a lot of. They don't need like recovery machines, vacuum pumps, or anything like that. So I've considered going with the truck. I had it in my head like how I want to put it, or what kind of truck I want. I haven't done that yet, but I don't know. Maybe sometime in the future, I can have a truck, can have it, or get a nice truck and have it as a personal slash work truck, and we'll see how that goes. Kind of like what I'm sure you guys have seen Quality HVAC Zach on YouTube, which I'm surprised he tried it out and he ended up getting a van. But something like what he did is what I was interested in with a truck. But I still got my van. Like I said, the van tour, hopefully next weekend, not this weekend, will get done and posted. And I can show the layout because I ripped everything out and started over basically. Arnulfo, grateful for everything HVAC lifestyle. Yeah, man, we got to be grateful. Being in this trade, you can get back on your feet quickly. So, um, like I said, HVAC God, hopefully you get back on your feet soon. You said company insurance doesn't cover it. It's wild now. I barely have any tools to do any jobs. It's crazy. I don't know how the insurance stuff works like that. Like I said, I've never worked for, I've never really worked for another company. I've only known what I know here. And we help our guys out. We don't have like insurance, but if they need something, we'll get it for them. If they lose stuff, we'll try and reimburse them some of it. Um, Now we had this one guy who kept losing expensive tools over and over, and we're like, we'll cover it once. After that, you're gonna have to get it, or we'll get you something cheap. So yeah, grateful to be in the HVAC industry. It does so much for you, and I hope you get back on your feet. Um, just get some basic hand tools, and I don't know. Hopefully, your company ends up helping you out. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Turkey, turkey. You're killing it. Steve says, love the 680 with the two K type probes. My thoughts exactly. Um, a lot of people are like, man, that's a goofy. I think they told me that's a goofy meter. It's too tall. Way too big. I'll buy the small one or whatever. But you get like so many features with it that I can't go back to another one. So I didn't think I would like it, but I ended up loving it. And some guys have told me that the video that I did on it on my channel, because I just recently gotten it, convinced them to get it, because I think everybody's always on the fence just because of the size. But you get the dual temp, which is on the screen at the same time. So it has a dual display. You can check volts and amps at the same time. And the swivel head when you're checking amps and stuff. Now, I like to, if you're going to be checking something where the panel has to be closed, it's Bluetooth, right? It's wireless. You can check it that way, which is the best way. But if you just want a quick check or like an inrush or whatever, and you want to just, sit there and look at it, I love that it swivels and, it has everything else that you need. Jason, just got home from my training. My supervisor also has a YouTube channel and it was live. Was it HVAC time? I don't know. I try to follow a bunch of HVAC YouTubers. I love seeing like everybody's different work and different look in the field. And I'm just saying that because I had seen him go live a little while ago, right before mine. I didn't see anybody else live, so I don't know. Maybe I'm not following him. Holden is awesome. Good stuff at HVAC time. So maybe that was it. Yeah, I had seen him going live. I love his stuff on like chillers and all that. I think that's mostly what he does, right? It's just industrial stuff. That stuff's cool. I took a class on industrial, but man, that's a whole other beast in the HVAC trade. Eddie, the multi-bit, no, multi-bit Klein. So Klein makes a whole bunch of all-in-ones. So I like the flip socket, 7-in-1, and then before that I had the HVAC 8-in-1. So those are cool. I never really liked the 11-in-1 because I had way too many pieces for me to lose. But yeah, the 7-in-1 flip socket and the HVAC 8-in-1 are the ones that I personally recommend. Rudy, thermal imaging cameras. I'm trying to post more about that. Hopefully I can be better about it next year. Because I have the Klein imager and I keep that one on my bag. Because it is like so tiny. So that one can slip into the bag no problem. And it works great. I do have a high-end one from Hick Micro. Now that one they did send out to me. I didn't buy one. And funny enough, I was supposed to return it. I haven't asked for it. So I'm going to keep posting about it. They just had me advertise because they have a Black Friday sale going on. So if you guys are looking for a really nice thermal imager, you can check my tool link in my bio. Right now it's under thermometers because that's where the only category I could stick it in. Like I said, I really need to rename it or some of it, organize it better. But it's under thermometers. If you go to my tool link and it's a Hick Micro, I think it's a B1L. That thing is super clear, works great. It doesn't buffer too much. Like the Klein, the only thing is the Klein calibrates quite often. So if you're kind of like moving around with it, it'll freeze for a little bit, and it does it often. But the Hick Micro one is a good high quality one. So if you guys have been like on the fence for one, they are off of Amazon, or that's mostly where they sell them. So if you go on Amazon, I think it's like 20% off or $20 off or something like that. And then you can get 3% off if you use my code. I don't think it's my code. I think it's a code they give everybody. But if you go to my Instagram, it's on there. I'll post it on my YouTube post. I'll make a post about it there too. So I think you get like 23% off. And it knocks it down pretty good because it's at $3.99. And they have different models. You can go with a more expensive one. I think they even have a cheaper one. And now they have a little flat handheld one that kind of looks like a phone. So yeah, just like Rudy said, I like to use them. I like to check how compressor's doing. You can check fan motors. You can check disconnect boxes, because that's what I had made a post about. Is I've been seeing a bunch of new units. So one of our customers used a different company to change out a whole bunch of ACs, and then when I went back for like other calls and I'm on the roof, I can see that they have new, I think they're all trains, but with a rusted old disconnect box and the original thermostat wiring and the original PVC drain lines. The drains, they just connected them. However, they don't even like work because they didn't want to add, the system is a different size and it's oriented different, because I think they were upgrading from carriers. So they didn't add enough PVC, or they didn't add any PVC. So they had drain issues, they had electrical issues, like where the unit wouldn't come on. They have low voltage shorts. So I went around with the thermal imager to check all the disconnect boxes, and they were all like super pitted and arcing and all that stuff. So you can see like if a leg is hot or running too warm. Randy, what's up, man? Do you guys have trackers? No. We kind of needed them at one point, but hopefully we won't. We're a small group of 5 people. We kind of check in on the guys. We know where they're at based on what calls they take. If you guys, that's another feature from Jobber too. If we wanted to, we could have them clock in and out in the app and keep a timesheet. And it would also tell us like when they're doing the jobs, like where they're at. So Jobber does like a whole bunch of stuff in that app. It's not just invoicing, even though that's mostly what I use it for, is invoicing and quoting. It does GPS tracking. It does scheduling. It has a portal for you to talk to your customers, where you can text them back and forth. Man, there's like so many features that I have not gotten into on that thing. Fleur is awesome. I love mine. Yeah, I almost bought one because I kept seeing that one pop up. And then, like I said, Hick Micro reached out. I want to say Hick Micro is very, very similar to the Fleur products. Someone even told me that it looked clearer on the Hick Micro, but I don't know. I think the Fleur one is still, that top of the line one, and I think Hick Micro is like right behind them. Richie Goodman in the house. What's up, man? Freaking thieves. Had my tools jacked 3 times. Well, you got me beat there. I've had mine, I think I've only had them stolen twice. But that sucks, man. Roosters are outside. Richie, I'm grateful for my multimeters. I have one for every occasion, like purses. Do you carry different brands or just different models of the same brand? Oh, Jason, no issues at all with the truck. You're a heavy commercial, so the truck is mostly for tools. And that's what, like I said, my dad gets away with that because it's mostly tools, a bunch of little parts, and not really equipment he has to haul around. Yeah, same. More tools, less parts. For Steve. Tracy Walker, what's up? Amprobe Richie, amp probe for amp clamp and Fluke for voltmeter. Gotcha. Jason, the F250 with a utility bed from Royal. I'll keep that in mind. I don't know. I think I have way too many things. I don't use them all the time, but you know, I got my recovery, vacuum pump, and all that. Did you pick the winners on IG for the hoodie? Yeah, that one went out to BLC Solutions, and then Randy here won the YouTube one for the hoodies at least. A meter and a net driver can solve so many problems. I'm guilty of grabbing one of my field piece meters, an all-in-one, and maybe like a multi wire stripper needle nose from Klein. I can do most of my repairs like that. Rudy, believe me, shoe covers, when you go to a customer's house, they love seeing that I've gotten many Google reviews and some tips. Blessed for the HVAC industry. Yeah, if you guys do residential, which I don't like to be in other people's homes, but you got to be respectful. Cleanliness is a big thing, especially nowadays. So, shoe covers, I know people have the covers that go on the floor. I forgot what they're called. All that stuff is important if you're doing residential. Jason, my prized meter is my Fluke 1587. It's also a Megger. I haven't tried any of the Flukes. I still have my old one. It's not the original one because it got stolen, but my oldest meter is the LT 16A from Fieldpiece. Tech Tie, those open service trucks are nice. Don't have to climb in to get stuff. Everything is standing level. Torch kit fits perfect in them, along with PVC and ladder capabilities up top. Yeah, that's what the guys have. Like, one of our guys has that, and then my dad has, or he just got a camper. I don't think he has the ladder rack yet. So yeah, they get into the camper, you have to get in a little bit, but he keeps everything towards the back. It's not much. Our other guy does have the service truck, the one with all the panels that you can get to on the sides. And it's easy, you know, you go in and you get the tools that you need or your parts or whatever, and then that's it. You don't have to climb into anything. Now, which I did that with my van. I have everything, or as much as I can, in the areas by the door. I try to limit myself from actually having to go in there too much. So everything is, like I said, by the door. Anything that I don't use that often is going to be in the middle. And I try to keep an open floor concept so I could get in there if I need to and move stuff around. Now you're just showing off, Jason. Yeah, his prized Fluke meter there. Heavy commercial. Yeah, that stuff is cool. The industrial stuff, I'm very comfortable doing light commercial. The Fluke is very pricey. Just it being a Fluke, I understand that. Fantastic tool, many, many features. Handyman, I purchased my GV recovery pump for 150 from a guy who was getting out of business, and it cost 550 on Amazon. Steal deal right there. As long as the equipment looks like it's in fairly good condition, that's great. Honestly, like I have I have my field piece recovery, and my vacuum pump is new, but the recovery machine, I've had it for a couple years, I think. I don't baby them. I don't do anything like that. I rope them up. They slam against the wall. They've tumbled in the back of the van and all that. So they should be good. Uh, I wouldn't see an issue with that. If you're getting them off a person and they somewhat took care of it, I think you're good. But you can visibly kind of see if it's not been well taken care of. But that's awesome. That's a good deal. Richie, at the moment, Field Piece, Fluke, Klein, Radio Shack, and one Amy's. I don't know how to say it. Amy's. I've never bought one of those, but I've been tempted to. Handyman, you have a JB recovery pump. So you have the JB and you bought, or is that what you were talking about? The JB recovery pump. Amp probe as well. Big fan of amp probe. Oh, they're under Fluke. Donald Painter shoe covers, a drop cloth. Oh yeah, there you go, drop cloth. I actually keep drop cloth on my van. If you have to open an attic access, a small drop cloth to set tool bag on. Well, yeah, I don't do residential. I don't know too much about that stuff. I do carry a drop cloth, like a plastic drop cloth, if I have to work around product, like in a walk-in freezer, a walk-in cooler, things like that. So that I don't, if I'm using water or I'm making a mess, it's dirty, something like that, I don't get their product contaminated, or at least, to the best of my ability. If we have an ice-upped evap coil, I'm going to use a lot of water sometimes, especially if I need to get in there, in and out, or they waited forever to call. I just tell them, you know what, I'm going to make a mess. I'm sorry. I'm going to cover your product. So that's when I'll use a drop cloth for that. So yeah, just so I don't ruin product. It's not, I don't have to worry about the floors or anything like that, but product, yes, I do have to worry about. Tech Tie shoe covers, I recommend the Klein washable ones. Bad thing is I left 3 pairs at a customer's home when I was doing cable tech work. And now I'm in HVAC commercial with no worries for them for the most part. Yeah, like I don't have to do that, but I do, like I said, the only thing is I keep is a drop cloth to cover product so that they don't blame me that I got some of their food wet, got any of the food dirty or anything like that. So I cover that because I mostly work in kitchen, so I do kitchen refrigeration for the most part. Fluke 902 FC is a sweet meter. So Jason Johnson is just in here giving us all the Fluke insight. I'm just a field piece guy, and I kind of have to be now because they're sponsoring some stuff. So my dad is a Fluke guy. I think I tried to give him a field piece, or he tried to use one because we had extras. I think his Fluke had broken or something, but it was like a really old one. And then he's like, "No, I can't use a field piece." He went and bought another Fluke. So he's hardcore into the Fluke. Me and my brother are into field piece. I think our other guy uses field piece also, but it's because we provide it. You bought the red fish. I've heard good things. Jason, I want that Navac NRDD fancy recovery machine. But damn, that thing is expensive. Is it? Because, like, I have my field piece. And actually, I'm supposed to do a video on my recovery machine. They sent me a new one. Spoiler alert. So I got to do a field piece recovery machine video. But I've been using it because I bought one a couple years ago. It's great. It works fine. It's quick. It's everything that I want it to be. But yeah, when I saw the Navac one, that's the only one that I would consider switching to, I think. I think Field Piece was my favorite that I compared them to because at that point I wasn't so deep into Field Piece, so I was still like browsing around. Nowadays, I kind of try to stick to Field Piece. But that one was the best one at the time that I could think of or that I could find. And then yeah, once I saw that Navac one, Navac makes so many good products. Uh, but yeah, I think I remember seeing the price on it. It was like way too much. But I bet you it works. I think it's the quickest one, and I think they do a little more with theirs to handle the heat. Even though I live in Texas, I still have to use an ice bucket because if I'm recovering anything more than like 7 or 8 pounds, it's gonna take a little while, and that thing's gonna heat up real quick. My first meter is Field Piece amp clamp from school, and I will always have it. They made us get the LT 16A in school, which I didn't like that it had the amp clamp, the amp clamp as a, um, what do you call it? As a accessory. Like you had to plug it in to the leads. Like you would take off the tips and plug in the clamp. Once I, found the other one, the SC, I don't know what it was at the time, but the small one, I got that one and that one's great. So I'd rather have the amp clamp built in. I didn't like having it as an accessory. I still have my Field Piece HS36 from 8 years ago. Still works great. We have one. I can't remember the model on it. I found it in our warehouse. I need to go get it. I don't remember. It's somewhere there. I haven't tried to turn it on. TNZ, hey, what's up, man? Another Field Piece guy. Mike Reed, Testo. Testo, what product? I think the only thing that I really like from Testo is the digital manifold. So they have their digital manifold, super compact. It's way smaller than the Field Piece one. And I had their probes. I didn't care for them too much. I sold them so I could get the Field Piece probes. And then from there, I kept buying Field Piece. Donald, I agree with you on the Field Piece meters. I've used them for years. Fluke is the top of the line, but never had any problems from Field Piece. That's my thoughts exactly. Like, I want to say Curtis over on HVAC Guy YouTube has had issues with Field Piece. He does not have good luck with Field Piece. I think he had an issue with their leak detector. And then I think he had an issue with their meter. And I think he ended up getting them replaced or something. And I think they were fine after that. But I've never personally had issues. I know some people have complained a little bit on maybe the accuracy, which is why I think Fluke, everybody agrees, is like top of the line for the most part if you want to pay a little extra. But Field Piece is right there. I love the products and the way they are. Like the clamp, like I said, the 680, the SC 680 for me is gonna be my favorite meter from here on out. The swivel clamp, the dual temp readings, the display that gives you the two readings at the same time. You can check amps and volts at the same time. All that stuff is cool. It's a little big, but as long as it fits, I got it to fit in my bags, so uh, I'm fine with it. I don't like field piece for the 6 number. I am very religious. Hot as Hades here in Central Texas in the summer. Yeah, man, like it's pretty brutal. I don't know how y'all get it up there because I think it's the summers are probably similar because I'm like way South Texas, basically by the border, and we get those 110-degree um, uh, days. But then, like right now, we don't always get a winter. Right now, it dropped to 40. In a couple of days, it's going to be 80 degrees again. I don't know if y'all are getting that up there, but it's hot almost. It's like 90% of the year it's hot down here. And in the summer, you got to be careful. It's brutal. I make sure to stay covered any way that I can, have water, have something that's cooling me, like a cooling towel or a gator that I keep wet just so I don't like pass out up there. Rudy, I may be wrong, but the Fluke does have a magnet like the field piece. I'm a big fan of the magnet on clamp meters. Does it? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it does, or at least one of their models does, because you gotta have a magnet if you're doing like HVAC work. Where else are you gonna put the meter? I think the LT16A, which is the one I started with, I don't think it had a magnet because I think I'm getting it confused with the thermometer one. I don't think it had a magnet, but it had a kickstand, and it worked, but it didn't always stay propped up. Mike Reed, meter and the wireless probes. Yeah, I was gonna get into those too. I've been trying to catch up with the chat. I haven't gotten back on topic yet. Wireless probes are a godsend. Amp probe makes field piece amp meters. Interesting. Gary, what's up? Hi, Adrian. My field piece probes and my Vital tool bags. Yeah, like I said, I tried the Testo ones. They weren't for me, and I had the second generation, but I didn't like the button. I accidentally turned them on in my bag, and then the field piece ones have, if you didn't know, um, I think if you double tap, if you turn them on, and then you double tap the power button, it flashes red, and it'll stay on, and it won't auto shut off. So let's say you want to run a unit for a while and keep an eye on the pressure, but you want to walk away, go take a break, do something. If you do that, they won't turn off. That was the most annoying thing, is when I would let a system run and I wanted to see, make sure everything was good. Then I go turn on my phone and open the app and they're off, like they're disconnected. So that was like the one thing that I liked on the field piece over the Testos. And the Testo one, I kept accidentally turning them on and they were always dead. So that's why I went with the field piece. Richie, I'm rocking the SC682. To me, that's the way to go. Now, the good thing is they make 3 models. 680 is the best one, and I'm going to keep it as my everyday meter because I'd rather have all the features and not need them than, need the feature and not have it. So that's a 680. The 480 in the middle, I think, is a good one if you don't know which one to get. That one has almost all the features as the 680. It just doesn't have the swivel clamp, and it does not have dual temp readings, and I think the display is just a single reading. And then if you are starting out, if you don't care too much about the meter, I have the 260. I think it's probably 280 now, but the 200 model is a good basic meter. It does everything you would need it to. You can check voltage, microfarads. I'm pretty sure it has DC. I can't remember off the top of my head. And continuity and all that stuff that we do as everyday, checks. Let's see. Jason Johnson Fieldpiece makes some really good products for a fairly reasonable price. Yeah, so I got the probes. I have a lot of other stuff, and it's not too bad. Now, inflation, I think, has caught up. I think everything's getting more expensive, but for the most part, you don't want to get a cheap meter. I don't think you want to get a cheap vacuum pump, recovery machine, anything HVAC specialty kind of tool, especially when you're dealing with volts and dangerous things like that. You want to get a meter that you can trust. I can trust Fieldpiece, and then they have a whole range of products that I trust and use daily. I have everything Fieldpiece, basically. Mike Reed, yup, I'm in Houston. It gets hot, man. I have a Testo I like, the amp clamp. That hook is better than the Fieldpiece. Magnet hurts electronics. I don't like magnet. I keep drill bits away from electronics. I'm a big magnet person, but I'm not dealing with anything sensitive, at least on my end. I do have speaking of like cheap or expensive meters, those Coeets. I've done a video on the Coeets meters. I'm sure you've seen other guys do them too. They were sending them out to a lot of the YouTubers. I have some of those, and I think I would use those for the electronics, like for little electronics, things around the house. Those are good meters for that. But like if I'm on a roof working on a cooler, freezer, AC unit, I have my Fieldpiece. I love the 680 because it has 2 magnets and it stays on the panel very well. Jason, it was over 100 for 4 straight months every single day. Yeah, I stopped looking at that. I was more like, how high is it going to be today? Like, I already knew it was going to be 100 degrees. I was just looking at, like, is it going to be 110 or what is it going to be today? 105 if we're lucky. This is ridiculous, dude. But yeah, that's why summertime is that real moneymaker, man. Everything just gives out. I don't think I've had that issue like Chris from HVACR videos has said. In California, when they have their heat waves, stuff just doesn't work. And it's not really that they have to fix something. It's just that it won't work at that heat or humidity or whatever they have over there. I don't think we have that. I think we're borderline there. I don't think I've ever had to tell someone like, "Oh, it's just too hot today." Usually, the heat here will kill a motor, a compressor, or something, but it's a result of a dirty coil, something minor even, or like what I see a lot is jumped out pressure controls, right? That compressor's not protected anymore. The heat kills it. It overheats. It dies quickly. As soon as the summer comes, I see a lot of motors and stuff giving out. Now, do they want to do maintenance? They always say like, "Oh yeah, we'll set something up," and I'm like, "You better do it before compressors fall over or start dying and stuff." So when that summertime hits, maintenance is very important. Make sure everything's clean, everything is breathing properly. You got all your airflow uh, good and everything. If not, you're gonna have problems like piling up. Alan, God bless, bro. Oh, I'm getting lost. Mike, with the testo probes, you can unscrew the battery cover just a bit like a flashlight. Oh, okay, I get you. Like to prevent it? Yeah, I guess. But I've been very, very happy with my testo field piece. They do just slightly better behind certain walls. So both of them have or claim to have great range, 1,000 feet, I think is what they say, or something like that. If it's uninterrupted. So if I'm in an open field, that's when I get that range. But I deal with walk-ins, and I'm on the roof. I'm going down inside. I have walls and different things in the way, so I got a little bit better range out of the field piece ones than I did the testos. And that was across because I think I bought like I don't know if I bought a psychrometer or just a temp probe from Testo. I couldn't get it to read between a door, so I couldn't use it. So I've had better luck with the field piece, just in general, all around. And then like having the probes with the clamps, with the S-man, manifold. They're, what do you call it? Micron gauge. Everything is connected in one app wirelessly, so I don't have to switch between different apps. Measure Quick, I know accommodates for that, but it doesn't connect to everything like the scale, or I think it does the scale, but like I don't think I've seen the micron gauge hook up to it. I think it's only the True Blue stuff, but I haven't had it in years. I know they made upgrades to Measure Quick. I heard Tech Tie. I heard the Testo pipe clamps. You don't have to clean the copper to get an accurate reading. Better sensor on the Testo clamps. I guess you don't, but I felt like I don't think I got false readings or anything like that. I just think I got weird readings sometimes where I was like I wasn't even sure if it was working, or it just took longer than I wanted it to give me the right temperature. Whereas the field piece ones, they talk about their rapid rail technology. I might have to clean the pipe a little bit, but it gives me the temperature like instantly. And it stays there. It doesn't fluctuate or anything like that. Like I said, I tried this a few years ago or a couple years ago with Testo. I don't know. They could have made improvements or whatever, but I wasn't getting great readings with them, or they took too long. So I would see it jump around a little bit, and I was like, I don't know what it is. I need my superheat. you know? So I just keep some sandcloth or something in my tool bag in a little pouch somewhere. If I ever need it, I'll clean it up and I can put my clamps on there. It's not a big deal. You can also, like, if you don't have sandcloth on you and you don't want to go back to the truck, put the clamp on the field piece ones and then like kind of rotate it around back and forth or just like in place. And it kind of cleans it up a little bit. It's kind of like you're sanding it with the clamp itself. That's something that people with that issue do. But like I said, I just try to carry the sandcloth so I can clean it on site. I rather do that and know that I'm getting a proper reading and getting it done like that and getting a quick reading and just being efficient or quick. Gary, I agree. Love the Testo manifold. I have one, but not happy with the Testo probes. This is why I went with the field piece probes. I think the one thing that I like about them is the manifold. That's one thing. If field piece made one that looked like that or was that size, that'd be awesome. I don't see the point in the headless one. So Testo has one that's just the little middle part where your hoses hook up to, and there's no display. You have to use your phone. I don't see the point in that one, because if I want to use my phone, I'll use the probes, or I'll get the probes. But if somebody could make probes, like the field piece probes, and put a little display on it, like a tiny one. If you guys have seen their micron gauge, like that kind of display, and it just gives you like a PSI reading real quick. Doesn't even have to tell you temperature, but if it told you temperature, that'd be great. The saturated temperature. That would be a game changer. I think that would get a lot of people, pretty excited about the probes. People that are not even into the probes would probably want those. Because the only gripe that I have is that you connect them and then you got to pull out your phone, look for your phone, make sure you have a connection. And, you got to use your phone for it. So if field piece or somebody could make their probes with a small little display that just gave you a quick reading, if you just want to make sure the system has pressure, just want to see if your pressure control is cutting out or if it's not working or something, hook it up, just get a quick reading and then take it off. That'd be awesome. J Hill, can't go wrong, manifold gauges. I still use my analogs, to be honest with you. I used them the other day to top off a unit that we have to schedule a leak check for. And I already knew I was just going to top it off. So I grabbed the analogs, easiest way to charge it up. Because the thing with the probes is even though they're small and thin, they don't fit everywhere. So I have, if you guys do refrigeration, sometimes you have those little valves. They're kind of like what you would see on a split system. Those kind of service valves, outside condenser, the two that are next to each other. But for some reason, they have the ports either where they're both on the right. So if you ever see a condensing unit for like a walk-in cooler or freezer, on certain brands, they'll have the two service valves, and instead of having the ports, on opposite sides where it's like one on the right, one on the left, they're both facing right. And then like you have like very little space to hook up something, which basically the only thing that'll fit is a hose from like a manifold, like that. That's why I still use an analog. Sometimes I don't like to use my S-mans for everything. I prefer to keep those for the change outs or installs only. Or if I need something digital, like I like to use it with the scale and stuff like that because it'll hook up directly to it. Field piece probes and testo clamps. If you guys use Measure Quick, it's possible. Personally, I still use the JobLink app. Come to South Florida when we have no winter. We're still working 80 hours a week. Well, that's why I do refrigeration. I'm not going to get AC calls like this week because it dropped into the 40s, but I'm getting refrigeration calls. I have a lot of walk-in freezers down and little reach-in coolers and freezers that keep me busy. So in the winter, that's what it is. Like I said, it's going to get to 80 something this week. So the AC calls and maintenance will come in play for that. Oh yeah, I heard that too, Mike. Where the wire breaks where it joins to the sensor. I didn't like that it was exposed like that. I forgot about that. And I think I've heard of issues with it. But like I said, I sold mine. I got rid of it real quick. I used them for like a month and then I decided they weren't for me. Testo has the most accurate sensor, German made. Yeah, they're fine, and I know people prefer them, because not everybody likes the field piece clamps. But like I said, they just weren't for me, and I've been really good with my field piece stuff. Donald, you have the same meter. All right, guys, where are we at? Oh, dang, I got lost. Okay, hold on. The T600 ain't bad. Only thing is no capacitance. Yeah, it's kind of a must-have. Been seeing a lot of VRS systems now. It's insane. Guys, I'm the last one, or we are the last like area that gets all the fancy stuff. I don't see a lot. I still see a lot of mechanical. We don't really use a lot of variable speed stuff or anything like that. But we are starting to see it. Like we never had any of the beacon systems or anything like that for walk-in coolers or freezers, but now we're getting the intelligent stuff. So took a while, but now we're getting the digital stuff. We're getting the variable equipment. I just saw, I think it was a unit we changed out. I can't remember. I think the customer bought the equipment and the evap coil was microchannel. I'd never seen that before. So it's a train unit with a microchannel condenser and a microchannel evaporator. So that's coming. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And what was the other thing? Oh, and then we put in an ice machine a couple months ago or a few months ago that ran off a 410A, and I had never seen that before either. And I'm pretty sure we're the last to get that stuff. Like, I'm sure everybody else is like, oh, that's old news, but I had never seen that. Threw me off when we had a ice machine running 410A. But we're catching up. I still see a lot of old equipment. Visor, thinking about changing careers. Any thoughts on getting started, helper position, or trade school? Easiest, cheapest way, I don't know how else to word it, is to go look for a helper position, an apprenticeship, something where you're at the company already working. Most of them will pay you and get you trained on the job. Now, if you don't feel super comfortable doing that, you can go to trade school. Just be cautious with the ones that offer like 3 to 6 month courses, is you might not learn a whole lot. You might get your basics, which is honestly, if you go to school, you really just want to get your basics. You want to know the refrigeration cycle. You want to know how to put on like gauges, how to check a compressor, like continuity, windings, your basic electrical stuff. If you go to trade school, that's what you're going for. You're not going to know how to change out a system. You're not going to know how to fully diagnose like all low voltage shorts. You're not going to be able to conquer a whole lot. But if you know your basics and you can do like little things here and there, at least you go into work or whatever job you get with that knowledge and that kind of little like head start. But it's not mandatory. You can go straight into work, and a lot of people prefer that over going to school. So it just depends on what you want. I preferred going to school so that I didn't look dumb at work, but my path was very different because the whole plan from the start was to get my contractor's license as soon as I could, because I didn't want to work anywhere else too long. I need to get to my dad's company with my license and everything and get to work. So yeah, like everybody's different, and school is not mandatory. It's just, that's my path. That's the way I went. I learned a lot though. We had a lot of like what they called lab. So I was actually recovering stuff like refrigerant. I used all the pumps, the recovery machines. They taught us how to pump down systems, take apart compressors. Like I had all of that hands-on in school, and I had a good experience. So if you do consider school, maybe go talk to them and kind of interview them, see how much of it is hands-on. Walk around the school, see if they have equipment that you all are going to work on. We had a lot of training boards. I had a lot of practice wiring up things and checking low voltage. So I felt pretty comfortable coming out of school doing all that. Tech Tie, on call summertime in Texas, 105 hours plus a week. Oh man. Yeah, guys, I've been even right now with refrigeration, just because a freezer goes down, I can't reschedule that. I need to go out there or they're going to lose a whole bunch of products. So lately I've been working late, working on a bunch of freezers. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done. There's plenty of work to go around. Being in the trade, especially HVAC, it's like nonstop. Amis, I don't know how to say that. Harbor Freight Meter. I think I have that brand of a, what do you call it, infrared thermometer, and it worked great. I just recently got a different one because I beat the hell out of that one. Tech, I actually have to pay somebody to cut my grass in the summer because of no time. I feel you, man. Like I said, sometimes I work at like till the night, and then you don't want to do anything after that. I mean, you can't do much if you're working late. Then if your weekends are spent working too, I'm on call 24/7, so I understand where you're coming from. Um, it's either you don't want to or you don't have the time. Now, for anybody watching, you can have a normal work week. You can have a normal life outside of HVAC. It's just like you choose kind of what you want to do. If you want to make more money, you got to work more. Or if you want to run a business, you have to work more. That's just the nature of it. Have been working on a lot of R290, and today I got the top test gas leak detector, going to test it out. So I had tried it in my van. I didn't have a call for it at the time, but the other day, I think I posted it on my Instagram, and that video will not be out for another week or so. But they had me check an under counter. I think this one was a cooler, and I didn't have a request for it, so I couldn't touch it technically. But I was like, you know what? Let me just kind of quickly sniff it out with the gas detector. Sure enough, the thing went off, and it was a cooler that only held about 3.5 ounces of the R290, and it picked it up. So, I mean, it works if you want to look for a leak. It gives you a general idea of where it is. And it even told me that it was on the left side of the coil. I kind of already knew that it was going to be the coil, just because I've already seen a few of those. And from what I understand of other guys, that post that work on the R290 stuff, it's almost always the evaporator. Do I sell on OfferUp? No, I haven't tried that. I think that one I ended up selling it like on eBay or something. Fieldpiece has the best wireless. I have not had any issues. I leave my meter, since it can read temperature. I actually leave the meter inside of a walk-in, whether it's a cooler or freezer, and I can check the temperature and not be in there. I used to have the issue, like I had that thermometer that somebody brought up, that dual temp thermometer from Fieldpiece, and I used to hang it on the wall, or no, I used to hang it over the door and have the thermocouple inside the door. I close the door and I would hang it on the outside, and I would get so pissed because people would be walking in and out. Especially if I wasn't around, the thermometer would go flying because I didn't notice it or whatever. So now I can use it, or use my meter wirelessly to check temperature and things like that. And I can use it on reach-ins too. I'll throw it in the reach-in while I pack up after a repair. And, they can be using it and I can be checking the temperature. It's not a big deal. You can check the minimum and maximum on it. You can get a good reading. If you're using the app, you can get a bar graph and see like the temperature, how it's doing. So that's how I do it now. I love everything wireless. The meter, the probes, psychrometers, the clamps, all that stuff is just really cool. VRF and VRV are taking over, and inverters, yeah, and microchannels. Jason, it's not just you, man. I don't use Measure Quick. Everybody always tells me that I need to be using Measure Quick, and I'm like, I don't know. I love JobLink. It's simple. I have a tab for the meter. Then I can go over to my probes, go over to the scale, go over to the vacuum gauge, and not have to leave the app. That's just my preference. So I'm using JobLink still up until this day. Maybe I'll give Measure Quick another chance, but I don't know. I really like the JobLink, and then they just recently had updated the look, and I think it looks fine. I think it looks pretty good. Mike, any cheap gas detector will work on R290. I use an Infocon given to me by True. Yeah, I just never bought one because Infocon, but that's not like a more expensive one. The top test one that he's talking about is the one that I had. It's $20. If you go on Amazon, and I keep the link in my description and all my social media. If you guys ever check out my tool link, the top test gas detector is in there. It's a combustible gas leak detector. It's $20. So it was sent out to me, and I did give one away. Or I think I gave a couple away. And I wasn't sure about it, but it works. And Ryan from Hughesman HVAC used it on a gas line for the package unit, and it picked it up too. Now, my main concern was that at a cooler that's running like 3 ounces of R290 and it's already been leaking, is it going to pick it up? And it did. So very happy with it. And like I said, I never bought one. I think, I'm not sure if it's true, or I cannot remember whose bulletin I had seen. They actually don't recommend that you use a combustible gas leak detector. I think they just want you to use bubbles or any other means. I know some guys use or they test coils underwater and stuff like that. I personally got away with just using bubbles, but it was on a small self-contained cooler under counter at that. And you kind of know where to look, and the bubbles picked it up. It was a micro leak though with those small coolers. But it's nice to have for $20 a gas detector that can just verify. Like I said, that one I did have a video, but it probably won't be out till next week or the week after. And I wasn't going to take it apart because I didn't have a request. I was there working on something else. It was out of town, and I had other calls to get to. But I just got the gas detector, opened the door, kind of went where the coil is on the bottom, and it went off. And I'm like, okay, so whenever I do get the email and this is in the system, like for me to actually work on it, I can just quote you a coil and come out with it, because I already kind of I suspected it and I verified it with the top test. So, um, so that one's, that one's cool. Ace One, you're starting to like the NAVAC gauges. Ah, I wish I could pick those up, but I'm field piece. I don't have a reason to buy the NAVAC ones, but those are the ones that I would switch to. Yellow jacket for manifold. So when I use analogs, I have a yellow jacket. I forget the names, but I just have the basic one that they sell, the three hose, and I still use it. I used it the other day. I needed to top off a unit, and that's what it was. That would be nice to have a display on the probes. That's what I'm saying, man. If that was on there, that'd be really cool. Ice cream guy, what's up? I hope so too. Like the next generation of probes, they need to put the display on there. Send that idea to field piece. Uh, they send me tools to review. I don't know if they want my input. There is probes like that, but not reliable. I have I've seen pressure gauges that are like that. I have the Elitech ones, and they're fine, but they're big. They're kind of bulky. I think Appion makes similar ones, but those are not like probes per se. Those are like actual. They look like actual gauges, like analogs. They're just digital. Like what's the other one? Oh, the Yellow Jacket. They have digital gauges, and you can make them into stubbies if you want. Or you can throw them on a manifold and use them like that. But they're not convenient. Um, as far as like the size, I'd much rather have the probe, that slim profile. They slip into my tool bag easily, and I love that um, those kinds of probes. Testo is not great. The only thing I like is the amp clamp hook. Everything else is glitchy. Yeah, they have some good hooks. I think they even have a nice hook on the manifold. Alex, how do switchable fridge fridge and freezers work? Like, how does it turn into a fridge, then to a freezer with a hit of a switch? Worked on my first one today, and it was pretty impressed with it. I don't think I've run into one like that where it's a flip of a switch, but generally speaking, you can. Uh, the only thing I look for is like the how it defrosts. I mostly work on walk-ins, so as long as the coil can drop temp that low, it can do both. Um, it's just like how long does it run? Does it ice up? Does it have a good defrost? Because when it's just strictly a cooler, it's air defrost. When it's a freezer, it's usually heated defrost. Although the R290 system I saw a freezer that I worked on, and I didn't see any heaters. So I'm not sure if on some refrigerants like R290, if you can get away with air defrost, because I swear I did not see any heaters on it, but I'm not familiar with them. I've only worked on like two, and one of them was the freezer. Electronics in a freezer cooler, we are in business. I am like, because we put in a Heatcraft IntelliGen, right? So it has a whole bunch of electronic components, and I'm like, how does this work in a freezer that's like negative whatever? But it works fine. It's been working fine, and like I said, I've never had to deal with those kind of electronics because we didn't have all those beacons or whatever they're called, the other ones before. We went from mechanical now straight to IntelliGen, and we are starting to see them. I think I've worked on a handful already now. They're not too bad. Samsung compressor on back order for 6 months. Is that for the Manitowoc? Luckily, we've been able to get everything that we need over the year to do repairs. At the most, I have to wait a day or so if it's in another city. If I'm working on a package unit and they might not have the same exact compressor, they will cross-reference it, and we'll go from there. I don't think I've worked on a Samsung compressor, to be honest. I just deal with Copeland, Danfoss, and those other ones. Mario, you will love the York Simplicity board. I'll look into it. Nobody has York around here. I think I've only worked on maybe one in my years in the field. Ice cream guy, pretty much all the ice machines are 410 now, at least Manitowoc's. And we have a lot of Manitowoc's, but I guess we didn't have anything super new, even though. But I want to say that's because of the supply house here. I think they stocked up purposely on 404 systems, so we didn't have to deal with it until recently. Rudy, it's great to have Blue On. Just need more supply houses to start using Blue On to order and pick up parts. I love the support team. Now, have you used their tech support? That's the only thing I haven't used, and I haven't really had an issue where I need to call them for anything. But I think this week's video that I have going up on Saturday, I take a look at the Blue On app, and I went in there. I got to see the parts and everything that the unit had, and it was pretty straightforward. Because even though I already knew what I needed, because I've worked on that or those units before, the label had rubbed off of the motors and stuff. So if I needed to find out what they were, if I needed any specs off of the label that was rubbed off, like I said, I could just go into the Blue On app and look up all that stuff. You just have to put in the model number, and then it gives you a parts breakdown. Now the only thing is, I think only Insco is allowing you to pick up parts from the Blue On app, and take those orders and all that. But if Johnstone gets into it, jumps on it, because I know Johnstone in other cities does do it. So if our Johnstone can jump on that, maybe I'll talk to them. I'll try it out, because I've ordered from Johnstone when I need a few things, and I already know what I need, because Johnstone has an app of their own. I go in there, I already have an online account with them and everything, order it, and I can just go pick it up. It'd be nice to do it through Blue On as well, because they'll have the parts breakdown quickly. Like, you can just do that and pick the part you need. Now, when I do it through Johnstone's app, I have to go somewhere else and get a parts breakdown, get a part number, and all that, and then send it to Johnstone or look it up on their website and tell them I need this one and order it and all that. But yeah, Blue One's doing pretty good stuff. Call Blue On. I need to try out their tech support. I have to make up a problem or something. Mike, I think you have one of the last 410A units. Manitowoc. They are rolling out R290 now. We both use Baker. Well, we have a Baker. If I need Manitowoc parts, I go to Baker, like OEM parts. So maybe they are stocking up now on the 410 units before making that drastic jump to R290. I haven't seen that yet. I'm gonna have to buy like a charging kit to do the whole R290 thing. I do have a cooler. I need to see if they're gonna want the repair, and I'm gonna need a charging kit for that. Jay, the electrician, I got a Klein digital temperature probe. It was way off. Do you have any suggestions on a good one? I was looking at the new one Klein came out with, wondering if it was any good. So did you have the one that folded out? Oh no, you just had the temp probe. I had the folding one that had the infrared, and I liked that one. I felt like it was pretty accurate compared to like other thermometers I had. But I don't know what they're coming out with. I haven't checked on. Been trying not to buy tools, but I think I might buy some tools this holiday season. Do installs for a year and then service. I never did installs. I have great respect for the guys that do installs, or at least that do them the right way. Of course, I get pissed when I see bad installs. And then I have to deal with it as the service tech. Visor, thanks for the response. I need to do that interview. The school or the companies around me. Yeah, man, you gotta, put yourself first. So as much as like, they interview you for jobs and stuff like that, you need to know like what kind of company they are. If you go to school, you need to know what kind of school it is, and like what they offer and what they can help you with and what their resources are. Tech tie. Some of the supply houses are bitter as F. They hate when techs call or come in. I used to be like that too. Like I used to hate calling. And then like when I started, like I didn't know. I would be like, I need this, I need a motor, I need whatever. And they're like, what kind? There's like different kinds and this and that. And I used to be like, what? I'm like, I was so lost when I started, and I hated going to the supply house. Um, but I mean, um, as you get more experience, you know what you want, you know what you need, you know what parts you're going to use, or if you're going to go universal, you know which ones to use. So that's all cool. But I did learn to make friends with all the guys there because you're there so often. So it's good to make friends with the supply house guys, things like that, so they can help you out and be not be so bitter. At least the ones here, because like they're pretty friendly. They know me and my dad, and they treat us really well. Can't complain. You know the crazy part is a lot of these buildings, they're not just letting you solder no more, just straight RLS. Is that what they're like telling you? I haven't had that issue only at a hospital. So I do have the RLS kit, the tool and everything. I have yet to really use it because we had some. I had already done a lot of change outs prior to getting it because it took a while to come in. And then um, the ones that I was going to use it on got canceled. So, but I've only had that issue at a hospital where it's like a big deal if you're using a open flame and stuff like that. Elmer Fudd's in the supply house. And that's the bad thing. Like if you're in the trade, you got to help each other out. So the guys at the supply house, like I said, I make friends with them. I know everybody at mine. Tell them what's up when I come in. I chat with a couple of them, you know, until I have to leave. I don't stay there forever. I'm like, hey, what's up? How's work? How's your day or whatever? They'll ask me how my family is and my dad and stuff. But you're there so often, like it shouldn't be a drag, you know, to go to the supply house and then like when you're calling them or like I text them when I'm too busy and I'm like, hey, I need this or that. Can you just check if you have it and hold it for me? So I like to have those relationships with the guys at the supply house just so that it's not awkward or tense, you know, going in there. I get everything I need and they can help me out if I'm looking for something. So you got to have good relationships with your supply house. Hopefully, you have techs that you work with that are helpful, respectful, and they don't, you know, they're not bitter either or anything like that. It's just, you know, some people are like that and you can't be like that. It takes the fun out of, you know, doing our work. For some reason, True has some leaks on their condensers. 90% found were on kegerators R290. Interesting. Like I said, the only ones I found were in the evaporators on R290 systems, but they were Delfields. No more soldering in 5 minutes, I promise. Nope. Now soldering has its pros and cons too, and I hate being in a rush to do it. But soldering, I know people say it's quicker and this and that over RLS. They're both the same thing. It's all about how you prep it. So when you press, you got to make sure you prep the pipe so you don't mess up the O-rings. Make sure your depth is good on it and all that. And then when you're brazing, you got to make sure you heat it up right, wrap it around, make sure you pull in your solder and everything. And I've seen plenty of braze joints that are not done correctly. And you can find a ton of leaks on both. I wouldn't say on RLS, if it's done right, it shouldn't leak. But same thing with brazing. If it's done right, it shouldn't leak. But I've seen a bunch of leaks. Yep, the techs are going to be like the Walmart self-checkout. You still got to know what you're doing. Uh, like I said, I have the RLS. I will try to use it more often in the future when I have changeouts. I think it has its place, and I don't think anybody can just do it. It might be easier to learn than brazing, but you have to do it correctly. It's not dumbing it down or anything like that. It's still takes training and a tech that knows what they're doing. Be safe. The system. Be safe. Press the system. Take care of your lungs, or you only have one set. Gas and freon is not green stuff. Yeah, you got to be careful with. I've had it happen to me where I'm trying to unsweat something in a kitchen, and then all of a sudden, even though the system was empty, there's something trapped in the dryer or whatever, or in the compressors, oil that has refrigerant, and you get that phosgene gas. And then it happened to me, like I said, and everybody's like, "What is that smell?" And then like everybody's coughing, and it's like, "Oh shit!" So then, you gotta stop what you're doing, and that sucked. So sometimes it's easier to press or better, and you gotta make sure you're aware of where you're doing it. Like if you're inside, it's a little better to press, and if you're doing like stuff in the attic, um, or whatever, like, do you really want to be hauling around your oxyacetylene kit? I mean, I recently just got a turbo torch so that I could lighten my load on carrying, what I am in an attic or something where it's like really heavy to be carrying the oxyacetylene. So, um, the RLS is a super light tool. You take the jaws that you need. It has its place. But that self checkout comment was funny. At the gas station, I just saw self checkout as well, and you can pay for your gas and just put all your stuff on the counter, and it charges you. Handyman, at my college, we have hands-on on labs. That's great. That's what I had. It's the best way to learn. Uh, it's good to get both the book smart and the hands-on stuff as much as you can. Some newer use hot gas defrost. Oh, okay. Okay, I get you. I need to look at it again because it had solenoids, but I didn't pay attention to it. York sucks. I always thought they were at the top of the line, but I don't do, or not top of the line, but up there. But I do, like I said, more refrigeration than AC, so I don't know too much. I work on a lot of Train and Carrier. I hate walking in on Carrier. Also, they ask for ID when getting parts. Pretty soon they will scan barcodes on the tech's necks. They're pretty lenient everywhere here. Maybe the actual manufacturers like Train and Carrier are the ones that are going to be a little stricter, but around here, like I said, everybody's lenient. They sell refrigerant to anybody out here. It's really a shame. But I guess every place is different. Do you pay your technicians commission? No, because we don't do residential. We don't sell. We just do repairs. I usually cake Silphos over the leaking area, keep it visible, and smooth it out. Technique, I usually do something similar. If you try to go for that clean little wrap, it's never really a good joint unless you're like really good at it. Usually I heat it up as much as I can. And if it's like a patch repair, especially, throw a few dabs of it and then heat up the pipe and make sure that it goes everywhere. It wraps around and it's covered, like covered. Which, like in my last video, is what I showed because I had to do a patch repair. And I put an extra dab of solder just to be safe because you never know. I've had leaks before where I think it looks, nice and pretty and all that. And then I go to pressure test it and it's like a leak. Or I've skipped the pressure test and then I'm like, crap, I have a leak. And at that point, you're doing the work all over again. So put a little extra, and I have no issues with that. I don't use a lot, but I prefer you put a little extra and, like you said, smooth it out, make sure it wraps around, and it's like a good joint. Because you don't want to redo all that. ¿Por qué hablas mucho de las hermanitas? Well, tools, like, I think that was my topic today. That's why. If you guys have any questions, you can ask. Zuni21. Richie, I meant pressure the system with nitro. Are you an informant? I don't know if I could trust you. Milwaukee M12. I have the same one. It's great. I don't use it as much anymore. To lighten the tool bag. But when I know I have 100 screws to remove, I make sure I carry that with me. Best drill in my opinion. I don't believe that needing to bring in 40,000 in sales qualifies me to be on their dealer site with manufacturers. That's extortion. I'm out. I gotta have a... Oh. I'm out. Have a great night. I have a quota to replace in the morning. See you later. Mixture fix it. Which I should be wrapping this up too. I didn't mean to be on this long. Um, Everyone should have the opportunity to help another individual regardless of how much they bring in. I don't like to do sales or quotas or commission or any of that, but we're not in the, I think that's prime residential stuff, and we don't deal with that, which is why I don't want to get into residential. But yeah, I don't like that kind of stuff either. All right, I think I caught up. So then in my topic, I was like, what tools are you thankful for? And to wrap this up, the tool, I think we mentioned them in the chat. I appreciate everybody who's been here talking it up. And, I think, like I said, we mentioned it. Mine are the field piece probes. So I think those are a game changer, having wireless probes where you can be checking pressures and even charging a unit with probes that you can carry in your tool pouch. So then not having to carry around a manifold or anything like that, or having to go back for it, is a great thing. You just go up to the unit, everything's in your tool bag. I try to carry as much as I can, even though it weighs it down. And so the field piece probes have been like one of my favorites that I'm like super thankful for. Something I use very often, and I'm like glad that they fit in my bag. Oh, and then the other one would be my Navac hydraulic swager. So I do a lot of copper repairs, and even when we do changeouts, you got to do swaging, you got to do couplings and all that. I have not bought a coupling in like years. I used to do the little swaging block and do them manually. But now I have the hydraulic one, and that thing has been like awesome. I just go in there and make my couplings. Like I said, I do a lot of copper repairs where I got to replace pipes. And then when we do change outs, like evaporator swaps or anything like that, and we got to run new line sets, that has been like so easy to do, time saver and all that. So I guess those would be my two. Well, why don't we make it three? So then the last one would be the bender, which is a ratcheting bender. I use the Hillmore one. So again, if I'm doing changeouts or repairing pipe and I need a 90 or something, I love having the bender. So I love having the bender, the hydraulic swager, and my field piece probes. Those are the top like tools that I'm thankful for. They're not like my top most used tools or my top tools in my bag or anything, but those are the ones that I'm thankful for. They make my job so much easier. So like I said, Mike, spin bits. I have those too. So before I had the hydraulic, I had the spin bits. So those are great. You got to make sure you have the right drill for it and that it works. And the pipe gets hot. But other than that, those work great too. I do keep, like I said, I had them before, and then I put them in my install bag. So they're my backpack, the Tech Pack backpack by Vito. So I have those in there in case I don't want to go get the whatever. I can use my drill and then just knocks them out. So those are good too. I highly recommend those. Again, if you have a good drill that can make those swages, and then yeah, that's it. So I appreciate everybody who came out. I know we still have some viewers. I was trying to keep this to an hour. We ran 2 hours. I really appreciate you guys in the chat and everything. You should do subscription for troubleshooting. Like a membership? Or what do you mean on subscription? I had a plan to do a membership thing on here on YouTube where I could do one-on-one stuff with members, like troubleshooting or going over things, but I never got around to it. Like Blue One. Yeah, I think some guys do that. I've seen some techs that take on troubleshooting, or what do you call it, tech support. If I do it, it'll be more of maybe a video chat or a live stream like this, like to where I can talk you guys through stuff or whatever. Enrique McAllen in the house. I have a lot of local guys that come out, and it's awesome to see you guys in the comments. Again, I appreciate anybody who shows up. So any states, any countries, that still blows my mind. And then, you know, all the local guys that show love. $29.99. We'll see, man. Like I said, I had thought of something like that to where it was going to be on YouTube memberships, I guess, where I can help the ones that want help and, you know, keep out any trolls or guys who we don't want in there, but I'll think about it. I was working on a little troubleshooting chart for you guys, maybe have it in my link tree or whatever, but I don't know, we'll see. I haven't decided on how to do all that, but I think we're going to end it here, guys. I appreciate everybody here, and I'll see you guys.